You're listening to the Red Letter Edition. Don Harris, introducing you, reintroducing you. Yeah, this is a rerun. Boy, they're all reruns. It's the same thing over and over again. Get the red letters right, and all the rest of this will make sense. All right, let's get started again. Get started back on our scripture. And let me just tell you little dogs out there, roll over. Big dog's coming through. All right. That's fun talking about those kind of things, but please don't think that that's just entertainment. You can learn a lot from what I just told you. And so when you meet somebody, not necessarily, inclusive of, but not necessarily exclusive to, small of stature, there are some people out there that are suffering from an inferiority complex, suffering from it. You can get mad at them if you want to. And you can say, well, you just need to get over it if you want to. But hey, aren't you the Christian in this equation? Aren't you the one that's supposed to be the Christian in this equation? Well, if you are, and I hope you are, who among the two of you can afford to lose? Now, if you've got two people, you got a rich guy and you got a poor guy. They're friends. And they have gone in on a deal together, and the rich guy has invested 1% of his total net worth into this situation. Problem is that he's worth 10 times what this other man is. So when his friend invests the same amount into that particular enterprise, he has invested 10% of what he has. Now you got a rich guy and you got a poor guy. Which one has invested more? Well, if you're thinking monetarily, if you're thinking mathematically, you might say, well, they're both equally invested. It cost them both $10,000. Yes, but $10,000. Hey, is there any lawmakers out there listening to this program? I've got an idea. It's in my list of things to fix the world. I'll have to publish that one day. This is how we can fix the problems of the world. Little one sentence things, common sense things that could just fix problems. Anyway, is there any legislators out there, any lawmakers, any people who can pass bills, anybody that can actually do something in government other than line your own pockets and lie to people? Sorry, but as far as I'm concerned, you're just I was going to say a notch above lawyers, but no, you're not. Anyway, here's an answer for you. How about, it'd be nice if just one state would take this up and see if anybody else follows. Here's a great idea. Make a speeding ticket, parking ticket, any kind of moving violation ticket that a policeman writes on a car. Make it so that when that person goes to court, they have to bring their W-2 and they look at how much money they made last year, and they charge them. The ticket cost is 1% or 3% or whatever else you want to make it. I don't care, depending on the crime, of their money that they made last year. Do you know what that would do? You see, I've seen rich people pull their limousine up and double park it in front of a restaurant and go in there and sit down and eat. You know why? They don't care. What is it, $15 fine for double parking? Maybe $30? So what? So what? But before the food gets to the table, I will have made a phone call that I'll end up making $125,000 on. What do I care? Well, what about the fact that your big old stretch limo's got 3 people blocked in out there? Does that bother you? You see, the reason it doesn't bother him is because the expense of doing whatever he wants to do for his own reasons is so slight it doesn't affect him. I'm ashamed to tell you that this person was a relative of mine that said this. But his attitude about speeding was, it's worth it. It's worth it. What, $60 for a speeding ticket? And I can get there on time? It's worth it. I'm ashamed to tell you that was a relative of mine that actually said that. But you see, what it needs to be is he needs to go in front of the judge, and the judge looks at the speeding ticket and says, all right, give me your W-2. All right, that'll be $65,000. Let me ask you something. Do you think he's going to speed again? Homie don't think so. But you see, the poor guy comes in there, and he got caught speeding, and he says, what do you got here? And he looks at it and he says, oh, okay, you were speeding. Let me have your W-2. And he picks up his W-2 and he looks at it and he says, okay, that'll be $65. Or $6.50. But I'm going to tell you, it hurts just as bad for the poor guy that has nothing, probably doesn't have $6.50, staring at a 30-day jail sentence because of lack of $6.50. It hurts him just as bad as it hurts the jerk with the fat wallet. Hey, legislators, do you want to make a difference in the world? Why don't you do that? Why don't you make fines in the court contingent upon a person's income? It's called Don's widow's mite philosophy. Remember when Jesus saw the woman put in the 2 mites and says, she's given more than anybody here? You know why? Jesus doesn't look at the math. He doesn't look at it monetarily. You might think the poor man and the rich man in my scenario were equally invested in a project because they both gave the same amount of money. Well, let me tell you something. That's not true. One man has 1% of his net worth invested, and the other person has 10%. So when it goes belly up, wow, how long have I been? I've been talking about that for 7 minutes now. I'm sorry, but let's say the project goes belly up. The rich man looks at the poor guy and says, "You know what? I know you can't afford that 10% loss. I know that. I can afford that." So instead of this project costing me 1% of my net worth, we're just going to let it cost me 2%. I'm going to take your debt. I'm going to take your investment, and I'm going to be the one who loses here. What? I lose 2%? I'm fine with that. It's okay. Well, what's the other guy think? Oh man, I really dodged a bullet here. I'm gonna have to make this up to this guy. What just happened? The one who can afford to lose had the meekness, had the grace, had the love for his friend enough to shoulder the cost. I realize this is going to cost you. I realize this is rough. I realize that this could break you. It won't break me. It won't break me. I'll be fine. You know what you're looking at here? You're looking at a man of understanding, a man of wisdom, a man who loves his friend, who does the right thing for the right reason and is willing to suffer wrongfully. I told you this was a rerun. I told you. I'm telling you, nothing changes here. The character that I'm trying to tell you is indeed Christian character. And it is to be installed in every aspect of your life. So-and-so is suing me. Their intention is to take everything I have. Well, what's the alternative? Sue them back. Fight for what's yours. Fight for it. It's yours. It's your right. Let me tell you something. I'm Christian. I have no rights. So what do? I weigh it out, and I look and I say, all right, this person's going to sue me. This person's going to take this from me. Which one of us can afford this loss? That pitiful person that is crying and bawling and squalling and writhing in their own vomit? That person over there whose life is a bowl of crap? That person who wouldn't recognize one of their own thoughts if they saw it coming up Fifth Avenue? That person that has trouble loving, that person who has trouble understanding, they have trouble in every aspect of their life. Their life is turmoil. Their brain is pudding. Is that the person that needs to shoulder this responsibility? Is that the person that needs to take the brunt of this loss? They're suing me. What do? Sue them back? Protect what's mine? Stand up for my rights? Or say, you know what? Between the two of us, I'm the one that needs to shoulder this responsibility. I'm the one that needs to lose here. And why is that? Because I'm the Christian. I'm the one between the two of us that can afford this despair that this situation between you and I is causing. I'm the one that can afford it. Therefore, I'll take it. Okay, you're listening to the Red Letter Edition. We're going to continue after this. Stay tuned for more.